when done the right way, overnight oats specifically can help you to achieve a fat loss goal in a really sustainable way without having to count calories. But I see a lot of people make some huge mistakes that stop fat loss and even can cause weight gain. So today I'm sharing the 5 overnight oat mistakes that you need to avoid if you really want to maximize for fat loss results. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance. On my channel, I share the science-backed and delicious information to help you achieve your weight loss and wellness dreams without counting calories. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Today's video is also sponsored by Element, but more on them in a bit. Okay, the first mistake is you are only using oats. Technically speaking, all you really need in order to make overnight oats is oats and a liquid. Like, it literally could just be water. But only using oats in the base could really spike your blood sugar and lead to a blood sugar crash that can increase your cravings, increase your hunger, and ultimately make you crave things that work against your weight loss and wellness goals. Now, this is because although oats do have some fiber, it's actually not the highest fiber food that you could eat. So it doesn't do a great job of slowing down those carbs in oats. And we do need fiber to stretch out our stomach and tell our brain that we're full, we're satisfied, and we don't need to keep eating. So if you're really looking to maximize for fat loss when making overnight oats, what you want to do is also add in something that I call fiber fats. These are foods that are rich in both fiber and fat. This combo helps to really boost satiety, really prevent hunger, and make weight loss essentially effortless. My favorite fiber fats to include in this are things like chia seeds or edible basil seeds. Both of these are very high in fiber. Edible basil seeds has about 15 grams of fiber per every 2 tablespoons. So that's like bonkers. A lot of the standard overnight oats recipes use about a half a cup of oats. So the way that you would do this is you bring down the overall oats to about a third or even a quarter cup, and you add in 2 to 3 tablespoons of either chia seeds or edible basil seeds. That will really skyrocket both the healthy fats as well as the fiber. And of course, make you feel fuller for way longer. Okay, the second huge mistake is not adding in protein, or not adding in nearly enough. Now, studies have actually been done comparing oats to other higher protein breakfast foods like eggs. And it's found that when oats are just eaten on their own, they are not nearly as satisfying. They make us feel hungry faster, probably because of that blood sugar spike and crash, but also because of the lack of protein that oats have. Protein raises our satiety hormone peptide YY. It is the most satisfying thing that we could possibly eat. It is really amazing at helping to stabilize our blood sugar level, prevent hunger, and prevent muscle loss while we're losing weight, ultimately making it not only that it's easier to lose weight, but also that weight loss is easier to maintain because it helps prevent muscle loss too. So ideally, we want to treat this overnight oats as a meal. So we want between 30 to 50 grams of complete protein in the recipe. This is the range that most people fall into for how much they need at each meal to support their fat loss goals. And there's a few ways to do this. One way to sneak in some quality protein is by using whole milk instead of something like almond milk or coconut milk. 1 cup of whole milk has about 8 to 9 grams of protein, whereas something like almond milk or coconut milk has 0 grams of complete protein. The second thing you could do is adding in Greek yogurt or skyr. This not only adds in a lot of protein, but it also makes the overnight oats really rich and creamy. So it's kind of like a win-win. Just make sure that you are using Greek or skyr yogurt. These are about 3, sometimes even 4 times higher in protein than just standard regular yogurt. And then the third thing is adding in protein powder. Of course, this is the most concentrated way to add in a lot of protein. It also just blends in really easy into overnight oats. And if you're using the right type of protein powder, it adds in a hint of sweetness without adding in any sugar. Now, when I make it, I like to add in a mix of all 3 of these to get all the different benefits while also maximizing for higher quality protein. So I'll use whole milk as the liquid. I'll add in like a quarter to a half cup of Greek yogurt or skyr, and then I'll use a serving of our 0 added sugar vanilla protein powder. That combination gives me about 40 to 45 grams of protein in that overnight oats recipe. And something else I do in the morning, especially right before I have my breakfast to make sure I'm starting off my day feeling energized and properly hydrated, is adding 1 stick of Element to about 24 ounces of water and drinking that first thing right after my workout before I have my breakfast, which is why I'm a huge fan of today's sponsor, Element. Element is an incredible electrolyte company. They actually contain the sodium, magnesium, and potassium to help replace lost electrolytes, all without having any sugar. Like I mentioned, I've been having it first thing in the morning, and I found when I do this, not only do I feel so much more hydrated after my morning workout, but it also helps prevent some of those energy crashes I get later in the day, because a lot of times those energy crashes can be related to a lack of proper hydration. And what I particularly love about Element is that it just tastes so dang good. If you've been following me for a while, you know that before I found Element, I would just add salt into my water in order to get my electrolytes because it is so important. But I was not super consistent with this because adding salt into water just doesn't taste great. So I wasn't consistently getting the benefits of taking electrolytes. But Element does make it so easy to remember to take my electrolytes because it does taste so good. My all-time favorite flavors are their grapefruit salt and now their lemonade salt. That is probably my favorite flavor now. And you can get a free 8-count sample pack of Element's most popular drink mix flavors with any purchase at drinkelement.com/autumn. Find your favorite Element flavor or share it with a friend. This is only available through my link, so make sure to check out DRINKLMNT.com/autumn. The link is also in the description down below. Okay, the third huge mistake is skimping on fat. We just talked about protein and we just talked about fiber. Both are very important for boosting satiety, preventing hunger, and making it so easy to achieve a fat loss goal without counting calories. But fat is also needed because each of these food components help to prevent hunger in different ways. Protein raises our satiety hormones GLP-1 and peptide YY. Fiber does a really good job of stretching out our stomach and telling our brain we're full. But then fat is uniquely great at raising a different satiety hormone, CCK. So if we are imbalanced in any one of these, it's going to make it so that we get hungry faster. So for some people, just adding in the fiber fats with the chia seeds and the edible basil seeds does the trick. Others might need a little bit more fat in addition to the protein that they're eating. Great things to add would be like flax seeds or topping your overnight oats with pumpkin seeds or some type of nut butter or some walnuts. Okay, the fourth mistake is adding in sweetener. Honey and maple syrup are probably the biggest culprits, and these added sugars can more quickly raise your blood sugar and therefore lead to a blood sugar crash, which then increases your hunger. And it also tends to increase cravings for sugary, starchy foods, which again will not support a fat loss or a wellness journey. So the obvious solution here is to simply leave it out. But if you do like a hint of sweetness, this is where using a natural zero added sugar protein powder can be great. I personally use our vanilla zero added sugar protein powder. It only uses a natural ingredient called monk fruit, which helps to add that hint of sweetness without adding in sugar. If you guys want to check out my zero added sugar protein powder, I'll have it pop up right here somewhere. You can also find it on my website at autumnlnutrition.shop. Okay, the fifth mistake is not adding in an acid. Now, this isn't necessarily specifically focused for fat loss. This is more to make sure that you don't get nutrient deficiencies while you are also in the fat loss process. Because what is the point of achieving a fat loss goal if you are nutrient deficient and not your healthiest self by the end of it? Oats naturally contain anti-nutrients like phytic acid. These bind to minerals in the body and make it hard for your body to absorb them and use them. So it can bind to things like zinc or iron or calcium. But what is very cool is that when you soak oats, especially in an acid, it helps to really decrease that phytic acid amount and therefore make it so that you're actually able to absorb those nutrients in your food. Now, the type of acids that you can use when soaking oats to achieve this goal would be something like using yogurt or specifically Greek yogurt. Whey water is another option, or even adding in lemon juice, which is something that I like to do, especially for more of like a spring or summery vibe overnight oats. I'll add in lemon juice for some of the liquid, and then I'll also add in lemon zest, and it makes it taste so lemony and so fresh, so good. Now, I have a high protein overnight oats recipe that I made every morning to help me lose 15 pounds without feeling hungry. If you want to check out that recipe, you can find it with this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed and delicious information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.